Hello and welcome to our Reboot review. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
Today we are discussing the episode Wizards, Warriors, and a word from our sponsor. This episode originally aired in Canada on December 24th, 1994. I don't know why they premiered an episode on Christmas Eve. And it didn't air in the US until the 25th of February, 1995.
So sad for them, but it was such a good present for the people that year.
I don't know why they aired a new episode on Christmas Eve, though. It feels like that would be the worst day to do a new episode.
Most likely, but it's also a case of who knows how scheduling was like with those particular sort of things. It was either go with that day or having to wait 3 weeks.
I guess. So, number one song in America this week, Dave. It's still Here Comes the Hot Stepper by Ini Kamuzi. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but whatever.
Yeah.
Number one film in America this weekend, Dave. Big film for the end of 1994.
So very true, supposedly. But again, it's been a while, and the other things that are clouding my mind.
It's a
But the
Jim
one
Carrey
thing that's
film.
coming to mind. Oh, with that. No, it wasn't that. There's a couple. Come
Techn-
on, narrow it down,
Technically, it's
Ryan.
part of a franchise.
No, it's true, and it's still narrowing down with. I think it's a case of going with Dumb and Dumber, I believe it was.
It is Dumb and Dumber. Still holding
Oh,
on
thank goodness.
to the number one spot. Were you a fan of Dumb and Dumber? I don't know if we've talked about this.
Eh. It was one of those things that around the time I very much was a fan of Jim Carrey with any sort of particular film he was in. Though surprisingly, it was one of the films that I actually missed. It was mostly either The Mask and or Ace Ventura when I mostly saw most of his work. Dumb and Dumber came a little later on in life and it was like there and it was definitely decent work, but at the very most it was like eh, that and the one scene. Everyone knows the one scene.
I've never been a fan of Jim Carrey, so
Mm.
there are exactly two of his movies that I like, and that is the Grinch movie because it annoys a lot of people, and a really great movie he made called The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Indeed.
Have you seen that?
I believe I have, but I only have very faint memories of it.
It's very good. It's very good. Anyway, let us get into this episode where Bob, Dot, and Enzo are stuck in a role playing game with Mike the TV. Oh boy. This is an entire episode dedicated to Mike the TV, basically.
Pretty much. He's one of the main characters.
Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't hate this as much as I thought I would,
Hooray!
because I was able to kind of block Mike the TV out a lot of the time,
Understandable.
because he's really friggin' annoying.
But then, of course, you also have to understand he's kind of a main part of the episode.
He is, but that doesn't make him less annoying. And I
I
feel,
suppose the bigger question is, does it make Enzo less annoying?
oh, that's a good question. Oh, oh, I think it might have. I think that might be how they get me to like Enzo, is just put him next to Mike the TV all the time. Because then I'd be like, well, you're less annoying than him, so I guess that makes you better. So yeah, basically they have to go through this like medieval role playing game, like a Dungeons Lair, or like a more modern example would be like a Skyrim kind of thing, and they have to complete the game before the player does.
Yes.
It's not like a super plot heavy episode.
No, not very much, but it is a barrel of laughs and fun with all the particular stuff it goes into.
Do you wanna bring up this barrel of laughs that you had? Because I thought the episode was fine, but I don't remember it being particularly incredible.
Well, it starts off with the cold open of things with Bob hiding his own apartment, with Dot and Enzo visiting him, and just the terror and horror of the introduction of the particular character within the show, Mike the TV, who is his roommate.
Yes, who we have seen previously. There was an episode where we got a small introduction to Mike the TV a little while ago.
Indeed. And now we're going to get even more of an introduction. And of course, there's the typical jokes of why can't you just turn Mike the TV off? We can't. His remote control ran away. Could you blame it?
Okay, I forgot about that joke, and that's actually pretty good.
And of course, the joy and greatness of this particular episode in my own personal memories of Bucket O Nothing. Surprise your friends and entertain your family. Avoid perfect strangers. It's absolutely nothing. It is free for only 99.99.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, I feel like Mike the TV is one of those characters where I'm like, if they, he's on the verge of being like, how do I express this? For me, he's one of those characters that like, with I feel like with a couple little tweaks, I would really like him, but they never seem to kind of go where I want them to with the character.
Understandable. Too much television, sitcom, advertising sort of placement with it, and not so much character announcing game show sort of thing in certain respects.
I want him to be like a combination of like a terrible game show host and like like those like infomercial guys who like did like the ShamWow and stuff.
Yes,
I want him to be a mix of that.
which is understandable, but also a case of at the time and just with the stuff that they kind of had on hand, they only had so much to kind of go with. And it was still kind of a case of throw all the darts at the board. We're running out of darts. Get another bucket. We need to try and land something with this character.
Yeah, and I mean it's also they're going as broad as possible because again, this is a show for kids.
So true. But nevertheless, everyone gets trapped inside of the game of the four characters having to face against a user controlling his own four characters. Dot becoming the wizard, Enzo becoming the archer slash elf character, and Bob becoming the thief character. Which, on the one hand, is completely understandable, but also on the other hand is wildly hilarious because Mike gets end up as the warrior.
Yes, the class he is least suited for.
Of course, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, of course. No,
And of
it's
course,
it's yeah. It's comedy writing 101, right? Like you set him up as the most chicken shit character has to become the warrior.
yes. But nevertheless, they travel through the dungeon, facing all the particular challenges with the pretty much only one riddle that the one game throws at you. To face the challenge, listen to me. One in all in one. That's the key.
Yeah, the game designer here had they took a day off when they built this.
On the one hand, it was marvelous with all the particular stuff that they had to face, all the challenges they went up with, but yeah, it was pretty much just a case of we need to make a game that kind of teaches the kids a lesson, supposedly. Does anyone have an idea? Like, cooperation supposedly would work? It's like, yeah, that works. Everyone take five.
Yeah, I thought this was for as much as I dislike, not even dislike the amount that I'm like I wish Mike the TV was slightly different. I still enjoyed this episode enough. It's not plot heavy, but it's a good enough time.
Yes, and most everyone kind of has at least a time or bit within the episode to do something cool and actiony, aside from most of the main cast. Bob, despite not getting the class he likes, is capable enough to face the challenges that are there. And Dot was a riot with her being the wizard, having to face off with things using her abraca whatchamadabra call it.
Yeah, I forgot about that, which was pretty
Enzo
good.
sadly not as much. There was at least the one or two times he kind of got a chance to shine, but at the very most, he sadly got stuck again in the damsel sort of role in most cases.
Yeah, but I mean, also Enzo is useless, so I'm not feeling like that's a great loss.
He tries his best.
I mean, in theory, I guess he does.
So true.
Anyway, was there anything else you wanted to bring up about this episode?
No, just the case that it still sticks within the idea of everyone is mildly scared of Mike the TV, with near the end of the episode with them facing off against copies of Mike defeating Dot's copy with the Love Hospital, your prescription for romance. And then, of course, defeating Bob's copy with Welcome to the Commercial Channel, an endless cascade of useless products to rot your skeevy little mind forever.
Yeah.
Just like like the TV being mildly terrifying.
Alrighty. Well, uh, if there's nothing else, next week we will be discussing the Great Brain Robbery, which is totally not a pun on the Great Train Robbery.
Yes.
Anyway, until next time, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.